This might be the most common sense no shit statement of the year. But when I read books, I feel smarter. I am seeing somebody else's perspective on a given subject, right? And then as I'm reading, not only am I reading and ingesting new information, but I'm always asking myself, does this make sense? You know, and if it doesn't make sense, is it because of my own personal beliefs, or was it just not well articulated? Right? And y'all know that my conniption is people don't have a why. Why do you believe what you believe? I don't care what you believe. I don't care if you think it's this way or that way. Just be able to justify your decision. I work in construction oversight. So if I have to make a call in the field, I typically say, okay, this might not even be the right thing, but at least I can say I did this because I saw this over there. We needed to get rid of that over there, and we needed to put it over there. So I made the call to do X, Y, and Z when I couldn't get in touch with the construction manager, and I did what we had to do. Usually I make the right call, but if I ever make the wrong call, I can explain it from A to Z why I made a decision, okay? You need to be living your life like that. You know, let's start conspiratorial real quick. Look at the sky. Look at that. Y'all think that's just normal. That's just, oh yeah, that's just evaporation from the engines. Okay, so if we have these neat lines right here, why does it get all cloudy and hazy over here when you can still see the lines in the sky? That's just the combustion. That's just okay, or that's just like chemtrails being sprayed all over us. As clean as you eat, as much as you exercise, as much as you meditate, some people still come down with some crazy disease. It's almost like it's in the air. I've explained this before. See how it's like permeating down these little ridges? It permeates down, and then that's going to end up being all puffy like that. You see? It starts off on a straight line. From that straight line, it comes into these little puffy things, and then it ends up going like this where it covers the entire sky. So chemtrails, that's just straight up air pollution. And that air pollution at some point has to precipitate down on you. Oh, that's conspiracy. That's conspiracy. Fam, they're blanketing the sky. They are stopping the sun from hitting the planet. And y'all just look at it like, oh, all right. Because y'all are good little students. You're good little, like obeying little slaves because of what you were taught in school. Stay quiet and don't question your teacher. You know, like we give so much credit to schools. Oh, my child got honor roll. My child got principal's list, dean's list, whatever the highest accolade is in your school for your academic achievements. But all that shows is you know how to answer the questions. I didn't learn shit in school, like being realistic. I didn't learn stuff. I just knew how to put the right answer in the blank. And some of you always, well, that's what you gotta do. No, you can know absolutely nothing, but let's just say hypothetically speaking, you're taking a multiple choice test and you just hit random answers, A, B, C, A, B, C, B, B, C, 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 D, B, A, B, C, D, whatever. And let's just say you got 100%. You didn't know a damn thing, but you're gonna be looked at like you're an amazing savant because you get 100% on every single test. You can get away with not knowing anything in school if you know how to answer the test. All you need to know is what did they say last week that the answer was. You know, back in, what was it, first grade or third grade specifically? I think it was like first grade. I remember I knew the word metamorphosis because number one, I thought it was a cool word. Metamorphosis, like, you know, when the caterpillar cocoon a butterfly, that's metamorphosis. That's an example of metamorphosis, right? But number one, that's a huge word. And number two, they only talked about that word in regards to butterflies. So when the teacher had us play like this little trivia type of game, she would say to us, so when butterflies metamorphosis, that's it. And then she would, how did you know that? What do you mean, how did I know that? That's the only time you ever talk about this word. I don't even know what it means. I just know it has something to do with butterflies. You know, this is the same school system that is telling you that cheeseburgers and milk is a good food combination. As a grown adult, even as a teenager, when you can control what goes into your body, you mean to tell me that you get a cheeseburger and a glass of milk? Like the cheese is already on the burger, that's already weird enough, but hey, I could draw the line somewhere. But you telling me that as a side drink to your meal, you get a cheeseburger and a side up glass of milk. What in the get out is wrong with you? For those of you who've seen the movie, like that's like when you find out the chick is crazy and she's eating Fruit Loops individually and sipping the milk through a straw. That's some psycho shit. And you telling me that don't give you bubble guts, that don't make yo shit stink after school? Come on, fam. I used to have so many stomach aches and I never understood why. And I'm like, oh, because they've been giving us the worst food combinations since we were children. So if that's how we're used to eating as a child, what decisions are we gonna make when we're older? Some of you have like the fast food chains in your schools. Now, for back in my day, we just had Pizza Hut on Fridays. You know what I'm saying? That was something that you looked forward to, this fast food that's like drenched in like dense layers of cheese and oil and fat. And that's what you looked forward to on Friday programming. Don't question your teachers. Sit still, be quiet, pay attention to what they're telling you. That's the only right answer. And if you question that, you are disobedient and we're going to send you out. We're going to kick you out. School system. Now things have gotten so far where we are speaking about sexuality in schools. Crazy idea. I know I'm not a parent, but hear me out. Whose job is it to raise children? It's the parents' job, is it not? Or has progressivism super liberalism made that too far? Do parents still raise kids? I'm asking questions for a friend. So parents are still supposed to raise children. So if parents are supposed to be raising the children, guiding them, showing them the moral principles, showing them the way, protecting them, providing for them, all that type of stuff, why is it that every single day you send your kid to school for 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, so they can be raised by someone else, but we are waiting for a progress report. We're waiting for a report from the teachers on how your child is behaving, but I don't understand. Why are we doing that? It's like, no, why are we sending our kids to go learn? Like, oh, because we have these things called jobs that the parents have to go do every single day. Now you're starting to get the system. The only reason schools are here is to indoctrinate you, to make you another cog in the wheel and the cog in the machine. Your parents have drank the Kool-Aid, as most of us parents have. I went through the school system and I'm working so hard now so I can self-educate, so I can educate my kid from home. You want to go learn about Italy, little girl, little son of mine? Okay, let's go to Italy. Why am I going to read a book about Italy when we could just go there? You want to go learn about some Uganda or something? Let's go to Uganda. Let's go there. Not just read a book about it, watching YouTube and TikToks about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, school significantly held you back because all it did was teach you how to be a little slave, obedient little slave to never question the system. Wait a minute. In school, did they ever teach you how to do taxes? In school, did they ever explain to you how some of these unelected bureaucrats gained power? I mean, in school, they're so quick. Let's make it like situational real quick, something personal. In school, they will be so quick to teach you about slavery. But I'm coming up to the conclusion that slavery didn't exist in the capacity that we were taught it. We were taught that, Christopher Columbus came over here and discovered America. But yet there's all these pre-Columbus explorers that were here telling us that there were all these so-called black people, Negroid people, having the characteristics of the Ethiopians over here in the Americas. From Maine to Florida, California, it's a California and Panama. These was it European/Italian? That's all European, right? Whatever. All these explorers had all these documentations saying, hey, there's a bunch of black people here. Negroid features, Ethiopian features, bronze skin, brown skin, curly hair, barbaric hair, savage looking, that type of stuff. Unclean because they wiped mud and ashes on their bodies. The words that they used to describe our African quote quote traditions or our original people traditions. We were taught the lie that all of us were brought here from Africa and we just drank the Kool-Aid because our history's been wiped out over here. So how will we know? It's like, well, that gives us an answer, but it's the wrong answer. Why do you think that Africans be like, yo, fam, y'all ain't from here? You're not. Y'all started off over there. I get it when Pangea and everything was together. Maybe we started from Africa and then we spaced out from Africa. Okay, like I'm fine with that. But nevertheless, like our history truly started all the way over here, all the way up there, all the way down there, all the way over there. This is documented, but it's not taught to you in your schools. We aren't even really taught about Republican and Democrat. At least I wasn't, and I was in the part of from high school. I was in the Global Studies and World Languages Academy. You think I would know a lot more, and this is like not really. It opened my eyes to other cultures and stuff, which set me up a little bit, I guess. You know, you gotta plant a seed. You know, you gotta take the good out of the bad. But it's just interesting to me how all this stuff is just all stems from the schools. Your child is looked at as stupid if they don't know some basic little history facts. But I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But I taught my kid how to meditate, and now they can create things. We're taught, like, you really think about these things, man. You know, like, they don't teach you nothing about politics. For example, I want some of y'all to go do your research. You know, they indoctrinate you in school, so when anyone speaks outside of the paradigm that you were raised in, that you couldn't question growing up, you know, we aren't taught about how they do that sneaky shit in our political system that we're taught nothing about. I want y'all to go look up House Bill 645, brought to the floor by G. Kmetz, Kmetz, I believe. It's easily Googleable. Now, I'm being very vague with this on purpose because it has something to do with David 91. And when I talk about these types of things, they love to silence this type of material. By the way, let me show you the progress of these. Like, fam, come on, fam. They are really putting in work today. I wonder what's going on. Break it up. But nevertheless, you know, it's just like, go look at that bill. House Bill 645. Please go to section 1 on line 13 and go read what they're talking about in regards to the donation of blood and bones and tissues and such. Go read that. Now, that has exactly what to do. That has everything to do with the David 91 situation. Now, I want you guys to go look at the David 91 community guidelines on YouTube and go compare the notes. So they silence one side, and then they promote it, and but then they try to sneak these little bills past the common man to which they're governing. But did y'all have a conversation about that? Did we get a chance to speak about that? Did we have to wait? Hold up. Now, I do believe it was already overturned and voted against. However, you see how they try to sneak that in? You know, like, the thing is, a lot of y'all really don't realize that y'all are the clickbait babies. You guys are too lazy to read. How you doing? You guys are too lazy to read the entire article. You're too lazy to sit through a long form media. You want all of your stuff in TikToks. You want YouTube shorts. You want Instagram clips. You want everything short, quick, and sweet. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You can't have that all the time. Sometimes you're going to have to do your own research. Sometimes you're going to have to put hours in to answer one simple question. Y'all need to stop being so lazy and stop drinking the Kool-Aid, you know, because this short form media is literally shrinking your capacity to learn. Well, damn, if it's not in a 1 minute clip where someone already broke it down and made it simple for me to understand, I'm not going to bother learning it. What kind of lazy shit? You know, it's like, it'd just be one of those things, man, where I just question everything. Let's go back to schools, right? And they teach us slavery. You know, once again, this is me regurgitating other people's thoughts. However, it does make a lot of sense to me. You know, using my own thought first, we were able to find things from BC. Oh, this dates back to such and such BC. Oh, this dates back to this era. Oh, this is such and such BC. They even tried to pull off, and once again, up for interpretation, but they tried to pull off that we found Jesus's garments. We found his sandals. This is Jesus's. So we found Jesus' stuff, but y'all can't show us not one slave ship. Not one. We got a piece of a pot that dates back to such and such BC, such and such AD, you know, 200 AD, 500 AD, blah, 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 blah. But you can't offer me not one slave ship. That seems like something you will preserve. That seems like something that there will at least be pictures of, you know. But when you realize that the whole curriculum was developed at Notre Dame, well, there you go. It's like they created the story. They created the fabrication to successfully just completely screw up the mind of the so-called black man. You know? Now, I know a lot of people get uncomfortable in this type of talk, but y'all need to mature. Just because it doesn't apply to you doesn't mean that there's nothing that you can do to help. You know, it's like, oh, well, I'm a white man, so this doesn't really apply to me. No, how about you go do your research on this too? You know, as a white person in America, it's your duty to actually go out there and seek the truth. Do you like being lied to, or is it only when the lie is beneficial to you? Well, that's what I grew up learning. So, okay. Well, I mean, y'all were growing up in this Catholic Christian religion, and y'all were taught that the Dalai Lama was this great person, and now he's up here on camera tongue kissing little boys. It's like, wait, hold on, what's going on out here? A lot of y'all don't want to realize, everybody, I'm not talking about white people, black people, I'm just, everybody in general is slowly waking up to the fact that y'all been lied to from the jump. Our fiat currency is monopoly money. We're taught supply and demand and blah, 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 blah. But then when the government is spending billions of dollars, sending 40 billion, hundreds of billions of dollars to some other country and ignoring their own, oh, dang, well, let's just print some more. Okay, here's a couple billion, here's a couple trillion. What? So how can that money possibly have any value if you just created it out of thin air? And I'm working so hard for that? You know, one of the things I always talk about is the division. They divide. You know, the rich and the poor, the white, the black, the Asian. We have all these different races. Yes, there are cultural differences between us, different genetic backgrounds. Yes, I mean, that's obvious. But they put us against one another. There was like an analogy I saw, you know, like just like scrolling through wherever I was watching. And it was like said black ants and red ants can be put in a jar and they just do their own thing. It's only when you shake up the jar that they think that one another turns into an enemy, right? You shake up the jar, they can only see who's around them. So they'll be like, red ants, it must be them. They're the ones that attack us because we don't do that to each other. And the red ants are like, oh, we are the red ants. We don't do that to another. It must be those black ants. And then they go to war because someone on the outside shook up the jar. And we're too busy fighting one another instead of the hand that's shaking the jar. That's all I be trying to say. And sometimes it's like you have to have these hard conversations from time to time because you have to wake people up. Like, wait a minute, that is a lie. Wait, if that was a lie, what am I being like? Why did they feel the need to lie? What are they hiding from us? Wait, hold on. And then you start to wake up in that regard. That's why sometimes I have to make these hard-hitting videos because people will get pissed off. People will get triggered. People will get want to go run away and go complain about it. But once again, sometimes I be trying to get canceled because when you get canceled, you only end up getting bigger. You know, let's go back to school. Everything stems from these schools. You know, these schools that they and I've used this example many a times because prove me wrong. They diagnose a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old with attention deficit disorder. They can't sit still and focus. The child that's supposed to be running around and playing, not sitting under some fluorescent lights in one little spot, reading books all day. You know what I'm saying? Listening to a teacher at the front. Yo, fam, they're supposed to be playing. They're supposed to be outside putting their hands in the dirt, climbing trees, you know, figuring out what a rock tastes like. That's what they're supposed to be doing. But they'll just pass them a little pill because the schools are by no means are in bed with the pharmaceutical companies. Oh no. But they just want to keep on pumping these pills to your kids to help them focus. When they're a 6-year-old, they're supposed to be creative. They're supposed to be imaginative. They're still very plastic. So when you're trying to structure these children, they're trying to mold the clay into the way they want instead of what the parent wants. I mean, like I said, we're already talking about sexuality in school. You know, we are at the point nowadays where, like, I have to go back in my day. You know, when I was 6-year-old, wanted to play with Legos, video games, basketball. Now 6-year-olds are playing with their basketballs in their pants. A 6-year-old wants to have a sex change. What in the actual fuck? No. Fuck you. No. And I am adamant about that. There is no 6-year-old that is looking at itself to say, I want to wear these clothes. I want to snip my no-no square off. Or I don't want a no-no square. I want a dangly thingy. That is not a conversation. Those are not words that come out when you are a 6-year-old child. You want to play with Barbie dolls, G.I. Joes, Legos, maybe even makeup, and you want to comb and you want to play house and shit and have little tea parties and stuff when you're just pouring fake tea out of the teapot. That's what you're doing as a little boy or a little girl. But these people have infiltrated the schools. They're allowed in there. It's okay, sweetie. You want to be gay. You want to be trans. That keeps you open-minded. Why are random people having that conversation with your child? Why is it that we are allowing these children to ingest, to be pumped full of the same castration chemicals that sex predators are punished with? And y'all just allowing that because you woke, because you're conscious, you're progressive. That's bullshit. Go look at, I believe it's called the Walk With Me movement or such. Look, this is something that some of you woke progressive people don't want to understand. You don't want to understand. We are at war at so many different levels, especially when you're at intellectual warfare. You see it everywhere. One thing, no matter if it's physical war, spiritual war, intellectual war, there's this thing called infiltration, where you put spies in your enemy camp. They infiltrate you with spies, so you can promote your own message and interweave it throughout the things. So like when you look at how America is looking more and more communistic every day. I said it like that for a reason, because AI, the YouTube AI, will pick up on these types of things. When we come communistic, it's like you have to realize, like, there's spies, there's espionage, there's people that have infiltrated our ranks and they started gaining influence and they are putting in their little things. Y'all, like, I'm just going to start freestyling here. You know, like the TikTok stuff, the TikTok ban. Oh, the TikTok ban. Yeah, ban TikTok, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but once again, you lazy ass modern day age people, the TikTok age, first of all, it was super pushing like the LGBTQ plus minus upside down smiley face agenda. Once again, when something is being pushed on people, you have to really wonder what's going on here. TikTok is a Chinese weapon. But not only with that bill, this is the thing that they be sliding in there. You know, once again, because y'all too lazy, y'all don't even read the terms and conditions of these things that y'all be signing up on to give access to your phone. Allow access to your contents. Why does my calculator app need to have permissions to see my contacts? My calculator needs to see my contacts? Huh? But y'all just allow, don't feel like thinking about that, allow. And then you wonder why that whenever you're talking, like an Amazon search will come up. But anyway, the TikTok advertisements, right? They'll be like, oh, we're going to ban TikTok. And that's what they'll plaster all over the news. But then in section 2, 3, 4, 5,673, you know, they'll just go through here and be like, by the way, this bill gives us permission to tell you what apps and social media you can and cannot use. We will track how you use this stuff. We will see your data. We will blah, 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 blah. This gives us access to here. You must sacrifice your left toe. You must give us your firstborn. Okay, yeah, ban TikTok. This isn't conspiracy. You're just lazy. Go look. I am telling you, for those of you that made it here, I am reminding you, go look at the bill. House Bill 645, Section 1, Line 13. It's right there. They made you do something, and then they're going to low-key try to punish you for it. They made you do it, then they punished you for doing the thing that they made you do. How you doing? It's like, that's wild to me. Going back to the schools, that's just my return point when I know I'm going off the rails. You know, these school systems are failures. They're indoctrination centers. They are literally concentration camps. Not like out here doing hard labor, but concentration camps. They have you focusing on what they want you to know. Why did they not teach us about all this stuff? Who founded Chicago? Oh, a black man. Oh, wow. And they only gave him credit for that 150 years after his death. Go look that up. You see what I'm saying? Black people are lazy. They taught people racism, not necessarily in schools, but just like our society as a whole. So they taught you racism. You know, black people are lazy. You do realize if it wasn't for so-called black people, y'all wouldn't have half of this shit, right? Like, you wouldn't have any of this, actually. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, it's like, let's stop with the hate shit. Now, white people go, well, why are you bringing that up? Well, because it was hidden and it needs to be discussed. I have no hatred or animosity towards the so-called white people because y'all were duped as much as black people were. You know, y'all thought that y'all had some type of status, some type of claim to this land. Y'all are in for a rude awakening too. But that's the so-called a lot of black people too. Everyone's in for a rude awakening because there's a lot of truth things coming down the pipeline. You know, going back to the fiat currency, my mind's just spinning, forgive me. You know, but it's just like the fiat currency is fake money that we're trying so hard to get because of infiltration. Go look at the progression of the money. There was like US Treasury notes, and then there was just dollar bills. Wait, dollar bills. Aren't bills those things that you pay every month? Bills. But then we collect dollar bills. Wait, that's a debt note. Wait, we live in a debt-based society. Wait a minute. So when you take on all their debt notes, you're taking on the country's debt. And that's what we think wealth is. That's what we think riches are. Now, does it get us the little toys and trinkets that we want in this way the system is set up? Yeah. But at the same time, you don't realize that there's a bigger game being played. You know? We are returning back to the gold standard. We were taking out, I forgot what it's actually called, but like the international court system. We were taken out of all these things for a reason. Because there are a lot of war crimes. There are a lot of human rights violations like that are just allowed to happen in this corporation, this country, this corporation called the United States of America. You have to realize that these companies are literally militaristic. What do you call a group of people in like a specific group of people, squadrons, whatever, in the military? You call them company, Bravo company, Alpha company. Where is it that you go to work at? At a company. Oh, man. We call it tech. This is something I learned from video games. You know, what's the new tech? What's the new tech? Techniques, technology, a way of doing things. So how do you build that? Oh, well, you use this log cutting technique. Technique. Well, how do I govern this? How do I police this? How do I control this? How do I monitor this? With technology, a method of doing something. Tech. All the words are right here in front of you. And like and then sometimes, like, don't get me wrong, some people be reaching with it, but like sometimes it's just, you have to like really think about, damn, I never thought about that word. What else have I not been thinking about? I mean, polyester. It's the fabric, polyester. But have you ever broken down that multiple ester? Once again, I don't even have really anything to think about that. It just came to my mind, but it gives you something to think about. I've never broken down these words. When you study what's called etymology, for those of you that are new here, you start to really see that these words are just spells. You write things. The base word of write is write, R-I-T-E, which is like the base of the word ritual. You spell your name. That's why you say, you be careful what you say, because words have meaning. You know what I'm saying? It's like people are starting to slowly realize that all of us hippy-dippy conspiratorial people weren't really off our rockers. Chemtrail update. You see a couple new ones right there, but you see how they're dispersing and starting to cover up the sky? Come on, fam. That's a lot of painful information that y'all going to be exposed to. And if you get ahead of the game, you'll be less confused. They always say if you wanted to block people, they said if you want to block black people, is a different word that they use. But if you wanted to block black people from learning something, put it in a book. But nowadays, that's just with everybody. Everybody's a slave nowadays. Everybody. And the funny part is, we wanted to blast Kanye when he said slavery was a choice. It is. Slavery is definitely a choice nowadays because a lot of this is slavery. People are saying that they want to be free and the liberation and all this type of stuff, but then they just fall right back into the hole. There's that little clip where like a lamb or a sheep got stuck in like an irrigation trench or something, and then they pulled him out. He jumps out, took 4 steps, and jumped right back in the hole. That's a lot of y'all, and maybe not y'all watching me, but definitely the mainstream, the masses, the sheeple out there. They think they're free, but they don't realize that there's levels to the trap too. There's levels to it. You learn one thing. Wait, we need to get back to Africa. That's the first layer of the trap. A lot of us were never in Africa. Oh, we need to get rich and get a whole bunch of money. Yeah, so a whole bunch of money so you can get taxed out the ass for it because you don't know tax code. You get mad when the rich don't pay the taxes, but they're just utilizing the rules that they made. And you're too lazy to learn them. I'm not saying that I've done that research. I'm just saying, hey, I'm not above you either. I'm just calling a duck, and I'm very self-aware. I can call them, but they are spraying another one. Anyway, it's like I'm just calling a duck. I just call things as I see it, even if I see my own shortcomings. I'm never just grilling the world. I utilize my own shortcomings to teach y'all so you don't make the same mistakes. You know, I want the world to be better than me, especially the youth. But how can the youth, going all the way back to my original points, how can the youth survive out here? How can the youth make it out here if they're too busy changing their genders, pumping their bodies full of random chemicals that make them emotionally unstable, extremely sensitive? Why is a young man filling his body with estrogen? Why is a young lady filling her body with testosterone? That's going to literally make your biological makeup completely chemically imbalanced. And you think that these are going to be people that make sane decisions in their future? You do realize that this is the final attempt at depopulation. This is the final attempt to make a whole race of people that have been created, that they can have power and assert power over. The way I look at it is we all need to return back to nature in some form. Yes, I believe technology is indeed a part of nature. However, it's we need to get back to nature as in, who are you? We are too scared to define a woman nowadays. We're too scared to. And then we're trying to change the definitions to everything. No. You know, being a woman, I'm going to make a separate video on that, but like being a woman is the highest classification, the highest title that you can achieve. You know, being a woman. That's why for me, it's like, yeah, like there's queens and goddesses, all that type of stuff. But a woman, man. And we have people that think they can slap on a wig and put some makeup on, call themselves a woman. That is a disrespect to every woman out there. You know, but anyway, I'm done ranting. I just wanted to get some more stuff off of my chest. Hopefully I can get more organized with my thoughts. But if I want to be random, I'm going to be random. Till the next one. Peace.